Hey friends, Ed McDonough here, and welcome to Live Stream Wednesday, coming to you from Walpole, Massachusetts. And we're streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and on livestreamwednesday.com. And I'm really pumped about today's show because you're going to get to meet my longtime friend. You already saw a little glimpse of him, and colleague, Mr. Dave Miles. Dave is a syndicated syndicated content rock star, rather. He has over 30 years of marketing experience in the real estate industry. And in 2009, he formed Miles Internet Marketing. The reason why I love what he does is he has an uncanny ability to intercept potential online customers away from the competition and send them directly to his clients. And it's pretty amazing. I've been fortunate enough to be on the receiving end of that. And so I've seen this for myself firsthand. So without further ado, let me bring you Dave Miles. Dave, welcome to the show today.
Hey, Ed, how are you? Great to see you.
Good to see you too, buddy.
Happy to be here.
Glad to have you here, man. I love hanging out with you. Dave and I hang out a lot, even when we're not doing these live streams. So, Dave, one of the other things I was thinking about, which is really cool, is you and I both started our business the same year. So January 2nd will be 12 years for me, and I know that's coming up for 12 years for you too. So that's pretty cool that we get to do that. So before we dive in, I got a bunch of questions. I want to talk about syndicated content. But before we do that, tell me a little bit more about your background in real estate and why you started Miles Internet Marketing.
Well, that's always an interesting question that I get a lot. And the fact is that I was a marketing madman in the real estate industry. And I came up with some ideas that were very cutting edge and novel that nobody else was doing. And it increased my business the first year I started doing it by 49%. And then everybody wanted to know what I was doing. So, it was successful and a lot of fun all at the same time. But in 2008, most people will remember that the real estate market totally crashed. And my wife was a realtor. I was a realtor. And the phone was not going to ring for a while. So I decided I should take the marketing skills that I have and at least see if I could start a successful business doing that. And so that's what I did. And I rolled out a few things. And interestingly enough, two of my very first clients, one is a tropical fish store and the other one is a chiropractor. They have been my clients right from the very beginning and still are. And I love that because long-term clients are the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Dave, I know you do a lot of different things, and maybe we'll talk about some of that later, but I want to talk about syndicated content. So explain to our listeners, because I don't think a lot of people understand what that terminology is. So explain to our viewers what that is, and then and how you can what the process is you go through to actually get that content to show up on page one of Google in like minutes.
Well, the process is that when we say syndicated content, there's a lot of confusion out in the marketplace, including with SEO experts on that. There is something called duplicate content and syndicated content. And a lot of people will tell you they're both very, very bad. And that's untrue in both cases if it's done correctly. Duplicated content, when it's a problem with the search engines, is when you're taking the same content and plastering it on like every page of your website. But if you take it and you push it out to a blog and Facebook and Twitter and things like that, that's not a problem at all. With syndicated content, we just took that a step further by taking the content, and when we say syndicate, we actually submit it out to over 2,400 high authority media outlets, and that's how we get the content out there in a hurry.
That's awesome, Dave. Obviously I'm a big fan of this. Dave has done syndicated content for both of my books, and I've had phenomenal results. This is kind of the mainstay of your business right now. Is that right?
Yeah, it's actually at least 60% of our business. We do a lot of video too, but like the traditional search engine optimization that we used to do, we don't even offer that anymore. We do things like Google pay-per-click, but it's really expensive to do that and do it properly. So I have a hard time looking a potential customer in the eye and saying, hey, let's do pay-per-click.
Yeah.
And all you need is a budget of $1,500 a month to make it successful, when I know I can do a lot more with the syndicated content.
And is that why it's more popular? Is it because it's more affordable, or does it actually get better results than doing the other stuff? Or is it apples and oranges?
I don't think anything works better than pay-per-click if it's done correctly, but it is so difficult to achieve that. But beyond pay-per-click, there is nothing in the marketplace like what we're doing with the syndicated content. And so the results that we're getting have a myriad of benefits. It's not just that you get ranked on the front page of Google, which of course is pretty much the ultimate goal of everybody out there. There are lots of companies spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every month just trying to get on that front page. And we not only get on the front page, but we get an awful lot of the keywords popped right up on page one, number one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and I know, it was interesting. I was just doing a search for my first book the other day, and a lot of that syndicated content came up. It's just amazing how it's still out there. So people probably ask you this, and of course I know the answer because I know you, but what's the difference between a press release and syndicated content?
Well, a press release is just information that somebody wants to get out there. The problem with it is most people don't know how to write the press release so that it becomes the ultimate marketing piece and still looks like news to the media outlets, which is essential. So it's really a matter of how it's constructed, the keywords that are built into it, and things of that nature.
Awesome. And Dave, so you said two things that I want to talk about. You said one is keywords, and the other one I think you said something like newsworthy. So I know that syndicated content is not a sales pitch, correct?
Not supposed to be.
Yeah. Of course, you and I, being marketing guys and copywriting guys, we know we can work with that a little bit.
We find a way to stretch the system.
Okay, good way to put it. And then the other thing is, talk to us. You said keywords a lot, just so people are clear with that. Are we talking about a handful of keywords? Are we talking about hundreds of keywords? What types of keywords can people expect, or what's the quantity that people can expect their syndicated content to be found under?
Typically, we guarantee that it'll be at least 50 keywords ranking on the first page of Google. Wow. Typically, it's in the hundreds. And when we say keywords, we're talking keyword phrases. We're not going to try and get somebody ranked for
like a single keyword or something, like chiropractor or something, right?
Yeah, or weight loss or something like that. Those are just way too competitive. Not only that, but they're not actually the best keywords to get results.
So are your keywords ever regional? Do you do it by region or by state or something?
Yeah, we have three flavors of what we offer. One is to do it on a local basis, which is really popular for people like realtors and so on, where they want to target a specific community. The ones we probably do the most of are statewide campaigns. For instance, like one of the ones we did for you, I think we targeted Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Another one, I think we targeted New York and another state. I honestly don't remember. We did so many of them, I can't remember. But and then the third flavor is to go national.
Oh, okay. So national too. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
And technically, national is international because it once you put it out at that level, it basically goes out across the globe.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how many outlets does this get exposed to? So when you do a news release, how many outlets are seeing this?
Well, we submit to over 2,400 high authority media outlets, and we guarantee at least 275 of them will publish the content. But typically, it's 350 to 600.
Yeah, awesome. I think mine were in the 400 range, 4 to 500 range. Yeah, when I did them. So, you know, I know I've seen some of your case studies, but explain to, which are phenomenal, but explain to our viewers here, you know, how does that in literally minutes, sometimes even under a minute, this content is being displayed on page 1 of Google. Can you take us through the process a little bit and explain how that actually happens and why Google likes what you're doing so much?
Well, it took us years of doing search engine optimization to figure out what it was that Google really wanted. And it was like a light went off when we finally figured it out, because it was actually very simple. What Google wants is they want fresh, unique, relevant content. That's what they're looking for. Why do they want that? Because when you do a search, when I do a search, when anybody does a search, that's what they want to find. They want to find what they were looking for. They are not interested in all the other garbage that gets posted out there. So once we figured that out, we started giving Google precisely that kind of content. And then we notched it up to go out to the media outlets, which was the real breakthrough, because the media outlets have such high authority and credibility and trust, which is really key with Google, that when the articles come in from the media outlets and Google picks up on them, they don't have to vet them. They just push them right out onto page 1. And the truth of the matter is, it happens essentially instantaneously. Like if we publish like we did last Sunday at 6 a.m., and that was a test, by the way, which I blew because I didn't get up early enough to check it. But if I'm sitting at the computer and I have a list of keywords that I suspect are going to rank, I can start doing Google searches like right away. And the fastest we've had them time-stamped from Google is 45 seconds.
Wow.
But it's instantaneous. And the reason is Google doesn't have to vet it. Google sees this stuff pouring in from, the Boston Herald and USA Today and people like that. And they go, hey, this is pretty good stuff. Let's just rank it. Yeah. And that's kind of what has made it all work.
That's awesome. And Dave, so this is a proprietary system that's part of Miles Internet Marketing, correct?
Yes.
So this isn't something that somebody could just do themselves.
No. I mean, first of all, getting agreements with 2,400 media outlets took over 9 months. So, and the thing that's important to understand, Ed, is the media outlets, not a single one of them have ever said to us, hey, we'll publish anything you send us. It doesn't work like that. What they have said is, we will look at it, and if we like it, we will publish it. And that's why we have to, at a minimum, dress it up as news. But of course, we turn news into a massive sales piece. I don't want to say pitch, sales piece that really delivers the message that our clients want people to know.
Yeah. Awesome. So Dave, talk to me a little bit about the content. Like, what is this? Just text? What can go into a piece of syndicated content, or maybe news article is the wrong terminology, but what can go into this?
Ed, that's a really great question, because we put everything but the kitchen sink in there, quite frankly. Most of the media outlets only allow one image. So it could be the company logo. It could be, like, if it's a realtor, it could be a picture of the realtor or a picture of a house that they're dealing with, things like that. But one image. But the other things that we'll get in there is we'll get in their website. If they have a Facebook page, we'll get a link to the Facebook page. If they have a Twitter link, we'll put that in there. So we put links to a lot of different things in there. But one of the real key things that we do, and this is a mistake that a lot of SEO people make, when we talk about a specific part of our client's business, for instance, let's take Proctor Mansion Inn, and we'll talk about making a reservation through them. The link that we put in there takes the reader directly to the reservation page, so they don't have to go to the home page and search all their own, and they get what they're looking for right away. Now, one of the other things that the media outlets don't allow, which of course we found out through trial and error, was they do not allow putting testimonials into the content. And that's like waving a red flag that says, hey, this is a sales pitch. Right. So what we do is, if the client has a website and they have a testimonial page on the website, we put a link to the testimonial page. And for whatever reason, the media outlets don't seem to have a problem with that. So we keep looking for ways to improve the results of the content without actually breaking the rules.
Right. Yeah. So you're playing by the rules, but you're also making the content more flexible.
Well, we skate on the edge.
So what about like links to videos, Dave? Can you put a link to a video in a syndicated content?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. As a matter of fact, if anybody has a YouTube video, we'll put a link to their YouTube video in there, which gets the same kind of massive exposure. And one of the other things that we now offer is we will build 3 1-minute videos for the client.
Wow.
And we send one out to YouTube. We send one out to Vimeo, which is another video platform. And we send one out to a syndicated news video platform. So they actually are getting exposure in 3 different platforms with that. And for the 3 videos, we charge a very low price to add them in there. And it just adds that much more power to what gets delivered with the content.
That's awesome, Dave. So I just want to be clear on this, because it seems like a lot. So you're saying that in one piece of syndicated content, it's kind of a newsworthy article, and it can have one picture and then a link to a video, a link to social media pages, a link to a website, contact information as well. Is that all correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
And I'm glad, Ed, that you brought up the content information, because that is so very critical to long-term results. One of the things that
Dave, you said content, but you meant contact. Is it?
Contact, yes. I'm sorry.
Contact.
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is something known as NAP in the industry, and that's name, address, phone number for the business. And in order to get the maximum results with Google, the NAP has to be absolutely identical in every way. So one of the things that you get is For every media outlet that publishes the content, the contact information is absolutely identical. Google loves to see that, and they reward that. If you have a Google My Business page, over time, you will jump up into what's known as the 3-pack, or what we
Right.
like to call the money pack, because it's right at the top of the page for local search. And getting backlinks used to be the big key to making websites rank. We could take a brand new website, slam 1,000 backlinks to it, and it'd be on page one the next day. But Google figured that out a long time ago. And if you try that now, they squash you. But what Google does love to see is what's called a citation. And a citation is directed at your contact information, the NAP. And so not only are we getting backlinks from the high authority media outlets and we're getting the content published, but we're also getting a very high authority citation, which is just another reason why Google looks at it and says, hey, why not put these guys right in position number one?
Right. So this syndicated content can also have a long-term effect on how well your website shows up in the generic search results when somebody's looking for, somebody in your industry. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah, I have. But I'm asking the questions like I don't know. We gotta have some fun with this, Dave. So another thing I wanted to ask you was, how long have you been doing this syndicated content service, and kind of what are the results that people have seen?
We have been doing the syndicated content for just about 4 years. It was December 4 years ago that we started experimenting with them. And the results that people see is what we've talked about. They get a massive amount of exposure, which everybody is looking for. And branding is critical. And so we help the branding, because everything that's in these pieces of content is all about the company. And we also help, believe it or not, with their reputation building. And people will say to me, well, how does that work? And the answer is pretty simple. Our clients get to deliver the precise message that they want their customers, potential customers, and clients to see. And so word for word, we're delivering that message for them. And that's really important, because your reputation online is very, very critical. And then, of course, the final major benefit is the first page rankings. And, most of them are going to be on page one, and a very high percentage of page one, number one, which is where everybody's stepping on each other to try to get to that position. And I don't want to say we do it easily, but with the content and coming from the high authority media outlets, it's pretty successful in terms of how quickly that all happens. And the other thing I want to point out is most search engine optimization businesses totally neglect Yahoo and Bing, because Google's king of the hill. Everybody knows that. They're about 84% of the search engine results.
Yep.
But that other 16% has a lot of value. And there's far less competition there, quite frankly. So we made a conscious decision to syndicate to all three of the major search engines rather than just Google.
Yeah, awesome. And it's also kind of, being marketing guys, we talk a lot about social proof. It's another method of social proof, right? I know this, Dave, but for my book, the Email Marketing Advantage, couldn't you remember the name of it there? For my book, I was able to put on the sales page for that all these different media outlets that have shown that press release, or those press releases we did for my book. So that's another huge benefit too, is that it shows, it builds your reputation through social proof. And that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, one of the reasons that I do the case studies, and quite honestly, they take a really long time to do, and they're a pain in the neck. But the reason I do them is it's one way that I can really show a potential customer that this is the kind of results that we get for this company, this company, this company, this company, this company, and we can do it for you. We guarantee it.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So Dave, we're just about out of time here. I'm going to throw your website back up there on the screen, but people who are interested in exploring the possibility of doing syndicated content with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you? How would you like them to?
Well, they can certainly go to my website, but the best way would either be to send me an email, and my email is Dave@David, P as in Paul, Miles.com. So that's Dave@DavidPMiles.com. And Ed, they can also call us. My office number is 508-384-5990.
Say it one more time, Dave, just so everybody has it.
508-384-5990.
Awesome. Thanks. So Dave, I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody. Hang out for a minute and so we can chat. But I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to Livestream Wednesday. Next on the show is social media marketing expert Dave England from Dave England Studios. So come join me for that. But before I go, would you like to be interviewed on Livestream Wednesday? Visit livestreamwednesday.com. Click the green Leave a Voicemail Here button and record and leave me a voice message. And someone from my team will get back to you within 2 business days. So that's it for today. Have a great week and see you next time right here on Livestream Wednesday.